Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Oh, your dad is rich and your ma is good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 56th episode of the Serbian Corner, a Denver Nuggets podcast hosted from Nikola Jokic's homeland every weekend except on those without one. My name is Miroslav, and I'm scrapping the bottom of the barrel in mid-July while we are pretending there's actual competitive basketball being played at the Summer League. The Denver Nuggets have completed their 15-man roster for the start of the 2023-2024 season, after signing all of their 3 draft picks to multi-year regular roster spot contracts. Coincidentally, the famous Monte Morris traded players exception of $9.1 million expired yesterday, so we can stop dreaming of a bigger contract being traded for this summer. Jamal Murray will be backed up by Reggie Jackson. Behind him, we'll probably see Colin Gillespie or Jalen Pickett. Christian Brown and Julius Strother will back up KCP. MPJ will play before Peyton Watson and Justin Holiday. Aaron Gordon will play before Vlatko Čančar and Hunter Tyson. And at the 5, second-team All-NBA player Nikola Jokic will share minutes with Zeke Naji and Uncle DeAndre Jordan. That's right, we have a new uncle in town. It is a team that's pretty young, 3 not necessarily playing veterans, 5 very experienced starters, Vlatko, who is very experienced outside of the NBA, and then 7 guys who are between 20 and 24 years old, most of them with a significant number of reps in college basketball. If my July brain is still capable of addition calculus, that's 16 guys. 2 more two-way contracts are available, possibly for some summer league standouts. 5 of those 7 youngsters, plus Ishmael Kamagate, who is playing in Europe, will be on the Summer League squad, which is pretty exciting for the absolute sickos that will watch all the games from Vegas. The NBA League has almost taken its new shape. The only 2 deals we are still forced to see, we're forced to see if that will happen. One of them is Damian Lillard, and the other one is James Harden trade. Dame's one will hopefully be done soon, so we don't have to listen to every NBA show start with it. But the Harden one might, drag until the season starts, or even beyond that, because Daryl Morey is known for being a patient trader. Okay, that's enough rant from me. It is time to bring in my first guest for today. He is one of the most popular people on the Nuggets Twitter. He is a singer and a pretty good one. A photographer, a videographer, host of several shows, including Denver Hoops and Dreams podcast, owner of an amazing radio voice, making his Serbian Corner debut, it's Jeremy Nicolls. Hi, Jeremy, and thank you for coming.
Wow, what an intro! I appreciate that. But no, I appreciate you having me on here, man. This is really cool.
So tell me, because we haven't seen you on this show before, how long have you been a Nuggets fan?
23 years. 23 years. I've told this story a couple of times before, but the way I became a Nuggets fan, I was in high school, and I started asking my friends, because I was living in the Bahamas at the time, and I was actually asking people, hey, listen, I want to get into basketball, but I don't know what team to root for, right? And at that moment, everybody around me, Lakers fans, Celtics fans, Bulls fans, and of course, you got Sixers fans, Celtics fans, just random, big name teams, right? And I basically said, nah, I don't want one of those teams. I want to be a fan of a team that, one, has never won a championship, and two, it's just not popular. So they started naming teams like the Clippers, and then somebody said the Nuggets, and I said, the Nuggets? Like, isn't that something you eat, right? Like, and that's, just kind of making a joke about it. But I'm like, you know what? That's the team. That's the team, the Nuggets. I didn't know anything about the team. I didn't know anything about Denver, nothing like that at all. But of course, I really started to get into the team. And, at the time, you had like, I want to say Vashawn Leonard and those guys on the squad. And then you got like Earl Boykins and those types of players started to come up, the years after, and Marcus Camby and those guys. And, just being a fan throughout all those years, right? And then you fast forward all the way till now. Me now living in Colorado, because I told my dad in the Bahamas, I was like, one day I'm going to live in Denver. That's just, I pretty much just told him that. And I made it happen in 2015. I actually moved to Colorado for real. And, like I said, now 23 years later from that day in the Bahamas, the Nuggets are champions, right? So it's the whole full circle moment for me has been beautiful. And to be living in Colorado here, to be able to go to a finals game, to be able to see all these things happen in person, man, it's a dream. It is really a dream.
I promise you, I had no idea about the Bahamas part, because before the show ends, the Bahamas might be reintroduced into this show via a fun game at the end. So cool. I had no idea about this one. Tell me, just gun to your head, who are your top 5 favorite Nuggets of all time?
Oh, okay. Well, number 1 would be Chauncey Billups. I know. He's been my favorite player for quite some time. I just like the way that he played basketball. Being that clutch point guard, not super flashy. So of course we didn't get to see him a whole lot in Denver, but he had been my favorite player for quite some time. Of course, you got to throw the 2-time MVP on that list. You got to have Nikola Jokic on there. I would say Carmelo Anthony still, just because of what he brought to Denver all those years, making the playoffs. Danilo Gallinari, and then Jamal Murray. So that would be my personal top 5 for just my favorite Nuggets players of all time.
Okay, wonderful. It is time to bring in my second guest for today. But to be fair, I call him so often, he already has his own set of spare keys to the studio. He is a bowler. He is an archer. Not the TV show, an actual archer, a very tall person, but most importantly, a host of Denver Nuggets Four Corners podcast, a show I have on speed dial, if that's how you call it on my podcast machine. It's Rayvone Hackshaw. What's up, buddy?
Yo, what's going on, guys? Good to be back by unpopular demand. Let's do it.
So I'm guessing you're not calling from Vegas. I can't hear Brent Van Vogt loudly snoring near you, since these are the hours not to be awake in Vegas.
It was a tough choice. But I went back to my home state of Maryland. I'm here eating crabs, playing basketball in 100% humidity, those sorts of things. Having a good time, though. Had a good July 4th.
Very cool.
Excellent. And let me bring, last but not least, my favorite bilingual writer / podcaster, host of DNVR Bets, The Tailgate, whatever that is, the DNVR Draft Pod, the DNVR Fantasy. Remind me to ask you after the show what happens in the last season of Game of Thrones, if we're talking fantasy. So he is a l'italiano vero. He is Dr. Dre, Andre Simone. Welcome to the Serbian Corner.
Thank you so much, Miro. Pleasure as always to be here and talk to my fellow foreign Nuggets fans. I think I loved hearing Jeremy's story. I think there's something a little more special of being stuck in your corner of the world, and whether the Nuggets picked you or you picked the Nuggets, suffering through all that Nug life years, far and wide all together. So always great being on Serbian Corner, man. Always great talking hoops with you.
Thank you very much. And before I ask you anything of substance, tell me, I know that in one part of Italia, there's a boy named Andrea, like Andrea Pirlo. Yeah. So are you Andre or Andrea?
No, I'm Andre because my mom is from Colorado, right? So Andrew was in the mix, but that got avoided because my Italian grandparents could never pronounce that W at the end. Andrea was in the mix, but that's a woman's name in the U.S. So option 3 was the French. Andre, it has the accent at the end, so it should be Andre, but I'm happy to be like Andre Miller or Andre Agassi.
No.
Andre
I'm calling you Andre forever. It's wonderful.
That's how my parents would have it.
Wonderful.
So yeah,
wonderful.
Okay. That's how it works.
Okay, let's start with Jeremy. I have a question for you, and it's for everybody, but let's start with you. So, do you have a feeling being a Nuggets fan is different now after the first championship in its history, or do you expect the national media to send us back to our underdog roots as soon as this summer?
Well, I'll tell you, as a fan, I do feel a little bit different because I am actually a lot more confident in this Nuggets team now, because of Nikola Jokic, because of Jamal Murray, because of the chemistry that the team has built, especially over the last couple of years. Even from the bubble, you kind of really started to see the growth there. A lot of growing pains with this team, right? But I'll be honest, when you bring up media, let's be real. To expect anything of substance from most national media is kind of hard to ask, because any opportunity that they have to put the Nuggets down, they will take it, right? And I think we all understand that. So I don't think overall it'll change. Or right now it's different. Of course, you still got because I think when you hear them talk, they're like, well, you gotta give them respect because they're the champions. It's almost like that, right? It's like a grudging type of situation. But I think the moment, let's just say the Nuggets start the season off not playing extremely well, right? Let's just say they lose a couple games in a row. They will use that very moment to say, oh, well, I guess it was just that last season or Bruce Brown, and they'll start using any reason behind it. So I think us as fans, we understand that this team is a good team and can still get better. But I think overall, any moment, especially with like Phoenix and those teams right now kind of building up, if Phoenix starts the season off well, oh yeah, they're going to use that and say, oh yeah, Denver is not that big of a deal to us now. So I don't think the media's opinion is going to change much.
So Ray, are you now more smug than ever, or are you as nervous as you usually are before the start of the new season?
I put it this way, nothing has changed. I felt this day would have come for a long time. I'm not going to lie. Just in the sense that I think there's something about, at least in my life and my experience, when you sign that blood oath of being a Nuggets fan, and you believe in you're a fan of an organization that I think has a lot of integrity. I just always felt confident in that as a whole to produce good things. At the same time, I don't expect a lot of credit, or we're always going to be a team that's I think a little bit looked over as far as national media and coastal biases and all these things. But I felt good. I felt good before. I feel good now. We're going to be fine.
Dre?
That's an interesting question. I really resonate with what Jeremy was saying, where I definitely feel different as a Nuggets fan and as a basketball fan, honestly. I think I've been thinking back a lot. I'm a very fortunate sports fan. I've seen my teams win just about everything. I saw an Italian win the 100-meter dash at the last Olympics. Like, mind-blowing stuff I never would have even dreamed of seeing. And Nuggets championship matters as well. And it's really, gosh, I never quite understood representation matters more so than the Nuggets winning a championship. Because seeing them doing that has completely changed my perspective in believing they could do it. I appreciate Ray's optimism. I did not share that. Now, from the national perspective, I think it's simply going to transition from being overlooked and discredited to now just being heel. And, all the other teams are more flashy. Just reading the names on the marquee, not the actual basketball that's being played. And so those will drive the storylines, and we'll be the big bad wolf waiting around the corner to take all the, Avengers teams down. And it'll just be a different role. But I think with similar distaste from the national media, which sounds just fine to me, because I am the smuggest I have ever been. I hope that never leaves me. I might get a smuggest tattoo on my chest.
I love these answers, and we'll continue talking about our feelings right after this short break. Okay, we're back for segment 2. Ray, let me ask you something. So,
Sure.
does the Nuggets being younger than last year make you happy or worried about their ambitions next season?
I do think there are some questions to be answered in terms of who that playoff, end of bench rotation is going to be. But at the same time, I'm actually really optimistic about how well they can play, especially in the regular season, just in terms of, so much of regular season basketball is effort and energy and just being willing to do the little things. And I look up and down at the guys that they've brought in. And I think it's, for the most part, a bunch of guys who are going to consistently do those little things. So I'm pretty high on the Nuggets, at least in the regular season. And then, the playoffs take that development and chemistry, and then we'll see who pans out in that way.
Dre, what did you think first when you heard that 3 guys were, signed for practically 4-year deals, all of them, not all of them guaranteed, of course?
I mean, follow the money. Nothing can tell you truly how this team feels about these guys, like the contracts they dished out. They treated this like they had 3 targets. And those 3 targets, they kind of saw as first rounders. And now those contracts say those are first rounders now contractually for them. And it gives them more, flexibility with those 2-way contracts. And it locks them into those guys right away without having to worry about, some Carlos Boozer situation where the second rounder pops and then you can't even keep them. In year 2, it's a really interesting strategy. It's not the kind of strategy you really see in the NBA often from a contender, going all in on youth. This is more of the kind of thing you might see in the NFL. The Kansas City Chiefs have done this, for example, and had some pretty good success, but it's unique. And maybe the front office getting a little smug too here. I mean, saying, bucking the trend. It was great having the assistant GM in studio and kind of hearing them talk about it earlier in the week. It's, they seem to have a really coherent strategy, and I'm very, very interested to see how it plays out.
So, Jeremy, I remember a couple of years ago when Vlatko was signed to a 3+1 deal, that many people were shocked, 4 years for Vlatko Čančar, who haven't even played real minutes in the NBA. What the hell are they doing? And now we feel much different about that contract. So do you expect our new guys to follow the similar route like Vlatko did?
I do.
All that confidence from the front office.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are saying it correctly. I mean, it does come down to a confidence thing, right? It really does, because if the franchise is saying, "Hey, listen, we believe in you," right? We believe in you, from a Peyton Watson, Christian Brown. I mean, of course, your new guys with your Julian Strother, Jalen Pickett, those guys. The franchise is literally telling them, "You're gonna get a chance. You're gonna get your opportunity to really kind of just go out there and ball out." And I think, listen, let's be real. The real reason they're able to feel that way with such confidence, they have Nikola Jokic, who literally and scientifically makes everyone around him better. So I think they understand that he ramps up their progression, right? So the fact that they have him on the court most of the time, they know that they could bring younger guys in and they'll be able to see what they can do at a faster rate than they would in another situation, right? And I think that's what it is. So yeah, I think the fact that Calvin Booth is implementing a lot of that, especially right now, I'm behind it, man. I'm cool. I mean, I understand, you need those vets, you need those guys in the locker room, but of course, you still got DeAndre Jordan, you still have Reggie Jackson, and I think those guys, they may not be the most popular, but I think they will still bring something to this team from a veteran perspective, because regardless of what anybody feels about them individually, they are still champions to this day, and that is just what it is. So I like the concept, and I think what the franchise is doing now makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, and if I may say so, out of those 3 guys, everybody expected Julian Strother to be signed because he's a first-round pick, of course. And J Pick, I think most of us thought that he might get the full contract as well. Maybe Hunter Tyson was a bit of a surprise there, so I'm happy for him too. By the way, I think Hunter Tyson is new Gary Harris, because we'll only refer to him as Hunter Tyson. No Hunter, no Tyson.
So true.
it's gonna work perfectly together. Okay, so Dre, let me ask you: do you already have your favorite rookie / second year guy for the next season? Who do you believe the most in?
What an amazing group to choose from. I kind of presume that Christian Braun shouldn't even fall in this, right? I mean,
I agree.
Like, kind of goes without saying. I think the trust has been earned when you see a guy perform like that at the highest stage, and like his development. I cannot wait to see what Christian Braun's going to do this season, next season, when KCP has a player option. I mean, he might be the starting shooting guard for this team in like 2 calendar years. So cannot wait. I'm very torn between Peyton Watson and Jalen Pickett, and I'm going to go with P-Watt just because, I mean, I went down a rabbit hole of watching some of his G League stuff this week. I was comparing his stats to like some of the top draft picks coming out of the G League, you know, Scoot, Leonard Miller, who Tim Conley traded up to get, City Sissoko, who a lot of people like. P-Watt's numbers in the G League are insane compared to these other top prospects. He came in and was just incredible. The defensive flashes we've already seen at the NBA level. I mean, that 3-block game on like Steph Curry. Oof, I cannot wait to see what this kid can do as like the 7th, 8th, 9 man in some of these like wing heavy matchups. Kind of being your Uncle Jeff, but like more defensive and, you know, less of a shooter and more run and gun. I'm really excited about Peyton Watson. And then the other thing that's really got my wheels churning since having a couple guys from the front office here at the DNVR studio was they were talking about how much P-Watt, you know, has as a ball handler and kind of being maybe a secondary, tertiary initiator. You check off all those boxes. That's an incredibly valuable guy in this NBA. I'm super excited about P-Watt. And then between the ears, he really seems to have it. You know, he really seems to have his head screwed on right. So starting with Summer League, I am hyped to watch what P-Watt has in store for us this season.
Ray, I've already heard your takes about your favorite guys on your podcast, but can you please repeat or maybe evolve on what you already said about this?
Oh boy, I mean, Peyton Watson is definitely my personal favorite for a lot of the reasons that Andre mentioned. I think on top of the floor that he has as a defender and a rebounder, he can just get to his spots immensely easily, and that's always been something that translated even from the minutes he had in college. It's just, can he convert those opportunities? Can he make those right decisions and passes and all those things? But to have an original pick, I'm actually really interested to see, at the very least in Summer League, Ishmael Kamagate as a guy who, you know, I really like a lot of the guard rotation and the forward rotation that Denver has off that bench unit. But I'm really interested to see what the center position is going to look like, whether that's Zeke Naji or if there's another guy. Maybe it's Jonah Golden. I don't know, but Ishmael is a real center. Like he has the size, the physicality to, I think, provide a lot of that physical impact that I would hope that gives the bench structure and you know, that sort of thing. I don't know if he's coming over. I wish he would, but at the very least, I'm excited to see him play.
Oh well, the French coach definitely didn't want him to be anything but the center, but it might be actually a solid thing for the Nuggets. The Nuggets really need a guy who could be a vertical, you know, danger and a shot blocker, and he might be that even on the NBA level. What about you, Jeremy? Did you find your favorite already?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it almost seems like we all agree that Peyton Watson has the potential to really do something special for this team, because you see, I mean, you know, you guys brought up that Golden State Warriors game, especially, right? Those 3 blocks. I think we all saw that and we're like, okay, this guy has some serious stuff. And then even in those games where he got a chance to play against Phoenix, in those last couple of games where the starters were sitting, and you saw some flashes, and there was something that really stood out to me, is the fact that he's getting a lot of respect from really prominent name guys in the league, from Paul George talking about him on his podcast, to even Kevin Durant. I know Peyton and Kevin Durant have some level of relationship because Kevin Durant has talked about him numerous occasions, right? And I think when you see that from guys who, I mean, look at how many young guys right now, even Carmelo Anthony's son, who's saying that Paul George is his GOAT, right? So if you have, somebody who's saying that Paul George is their GOAT and Paul George is telling you, listen, we need to pay attention to Peyton Watson because what this kid can bring to this Nuggets team, it could be special, right? But I know you mentioned, if Christian Braun even does fall into this, but one thing that I would love to see, if Christian Braun can show us that he has a consistent jump shot, that'll be him and Peyton Watson at the same time having consistent jump shots, knowing the potential that we see from them on the defensive end. That is going to be scary for everybody in the league right now. If those two guys can play, hit threes, and lock down like we know they can, good luck everybody else. But those will be my two picks for sure.
All three of you guys mentioned P. Watt because you're smart guys and because P. Watt being good would be the best case scenario for the Nuggets, really. Yeah. If he's the best out of the bunch, that's I mean, you can then speak about real Bruce Brown replacement, or only bigger, longer, and possibly more physical. I'm not even going to zag because everybody knows I love J-Pick. So I'm just going to say J-Pick to me is like more physical Monte Morris, like Monte Morris with a bit more swagger to him. So I'm just in love with his game, and I wouldn't mind if he would be tied with P-Watt as the best young guy
I like that.
On the team. Okay, so another question, Ray. Based on the current depth chart, can you try to rank the youngsters by the amount of minutes they're going to get in this regular season? So include Vlatko and Zeke, and then P-Watt, Strutter, J-Pick, Gillespie, maybe.
Of all those guys, I actually think Vlatko is going to be number one, if not number two. I think in terms of like a floor and consistency, being a low mistake player and being able to fit into a lot of different lineups, both with the bench unit and with the starters, I think Vlatko is a guy who can be that. Malone loves having a security blanket, picking a guy and saying, okay, we need to calm down a little bit. We need somebody who's going to like keep things under control. I think Vlatko is that guy, and he has the, he's a good rebounder. He's a good screener. He does a lot of the little things I was talking about that's going to, I think, ingratiate to him. So he's going to be my number one pick.
Jeremy, what do you think?
I actually think it's going to be Christian Braun. And I think because of just the fact that he got that opportunity in the finals and he has a finals moment, right? Like a second-year guy essentially already has a finals moment. And I think that in itself, Michael Malone knows that he can trust Christian Braun. And I mean, let's be real. Look at his history in his life. He's a winner, right? Going all the way back, like every level he's actually won. So I think that especially if the coach and the team, they're able to see that progression with him throughout the summer, throughout the off season. And I mean, simple fact that they're not even correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they say that he's not allowed to play in the summer league? I think I did hear that or did see that being reported somewhere. So if that's the case, in their mind, they're already like, yeah, we gotta chill on him playing in the summer. We know we got a lot of minutes and a lot of opportunity for him in the regular season. So I think for me, I would put him at number one. I would put Vlatko at probably number two because I do believe that he's going to be one of those players for real. Because just like with Jeff Green last season, Michael Malone really does like to have those guys, right? He has to have his, like you mentioned, Ray, those safety blankets. He needs that. Vlatko, I think for me, the biggest question mark is probably going to be Zeke because I don't necessarily know what Zeke's role will be. And I think that's just me as a fan watching the team. And whenever he gets those chances, like, is he playing backup center? Is he backup four? We've seen him hit a lot of threes in a row at times. Like, is he playing the three? We don't know. So I think for me, Zeke, there's a big question mark on Zeke, but I mean, he's going to get his minutes. He's going to get his opportunities to prove something. And I guess we shall see as fans, but I'm excited, man.
So, Andre, if we have if we have Peyton Watson and we have Vlatko and we have, of course, Christian Brown. So I'm jumping the gun with Peyton Watson. He might not be the third guy with the minutes, but he also might. Yeah. So what do you expect of the other guys? How would you rank them by who has the most chance to get bigger minutes comparing to the other ones?
I agree. Those would be my top three. I love Ray's confidence on Vlatko. I really like the flashes we've seen from Vlatko.
That's my guy.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'd be all in. I mean, I think most people would have had him playing minutes over Uncle Jeff in the playoffs, but we're NBA champs, so no complaints here. Yeah, we'll take it. Thank you, Uncle Jeff, for all that you've done. When you get to the bottom, young guys, I think Pickett has the kind of quickest route to minutes. And now Reggie's there, and I think there is somewhat of a plan in place for Reggie. But Pickett's experience, I love your Monte comp, the fact that he avoids turnovers. I think he's just a rare rookie that Malone will trust fairly early. Also, Malone's reputation of not trusting rookies, like most NBA coaches, merited, but we also need to remember CB last year, Bones the year prior.
Yeah.
It's not like he never plays rookies, especially these guys who have a little more shooting and on-ball competence, and that certainly is Jalen Pickett. So maybe it's a hot take, but I think Jalen Pickett, when you get to that second tier of young guys, Zeke and the other rookies, he's my favorite to have the most minutes.
Yeah, so it's funny because we have Julian Strother, who is a first-round pick, and we kind of nobody comes to him as a surefire thing. Yeah. It's just so competitive. I'm really excited about Hunter Tyson, to be honest, because I mean, if he is what he is advertised to be, if he is a 40+ 3-point shooter on like 9 shots per 36 minutes, that's insanity. That's like a guy like that should be able to play if he can hold his own on the defensive side for sure. Okay, let's take another short break, and then I have a couple of more questions about the older guys. Hey, we are back. I already mentioned the 3 veterans the Nuggets will have this season. I guess there's not a lot of mystery about Reggie Jackson. He will probably be the backup point guard from the jump, and then we'll see what will happen after that. But what about Justin Holiday? Do you guys expect him to be in the rotation on day 1 in October, or do you consider him to be like the Ish Smith of this season? Let's start with Ray.
I'm more in that Ish Smith camp. I think it's possible that he does play, especially early on. He's going to get his opportunities just like anybody else. I think Michael Malone is a guy who's very open to giving everybody a shot and having an open mind about who's going to play. At the same time, I just think Denver has a lot of talent at that position. And I don't want to jump the gun or anything, but of the 3 older players, I actually think DeAndre Jordan is the guy who's most likely to play in my mind a little bit, just for some of the reasons that Jeremy mentioned about Zeke and his role. And I have some questions about his fit as a center, maybe in the NBA, and just how much talent Denver has at that spot compared to the guard positions and the forward positions.
What do you think, Jeremy? Ish Smith or not?
I think he's more of the Ish Smith as well, because even if you look at just his career, right? I mean, he's one of those players. He is a journeyman, right? I believe the Nuggets may be his 12th team. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know it's definitely over 10. I know that for sure. So he's just one of those guys that he's traveled around the league a bunch. He can spread the floor. I mean, he can stretch the floor. He can hit threes. He can get to the basket from time to time. I mean, he has the ability to facilitate if needed. But I think he is going to ultimately become one of those guys that you keep at the end of the bench and you bring him in when the game is in a blowout in your favor or not. And then maybe, listen, he's still talented, right? So I'm not going to say that he's not going to go out there and give you anything. I'm pretty sure he will have his moments throughout the season to prove himself, like you guys have been saying. But I don't see him being like a really huge factor in what the Nuggets end up doing throughout the season. But I just think he's there to be a guy who's seen a lot in the league, a lot of experience. I mean, I'm sure he's had conversations with his championship brother in Drew Holiday, right? Like, I'm sure there's things that he can even, give to the younger guys just in conversation, because you need those guys in the locker room as much as you need the guys on the court, because I think we always talk about just what you see on the court, but look at DeAndre Jordan last year. He didn't play a whole bunch, but what he was able to bring to the Nuggets in the background, in the place that we can't see, I mean, they obviously appreciate that, right? So, yeah, I think Justin Holiday will have his moments, but I don't think it's going to be a whole lot of minutes all season, honestly.
I think you've hit two very important things about Holiday. One is that he's a journeyman, and sometimes we will think about guys who are journeymen. They were not good enough to stay on a team for a long time. But on the other hand, if you have a guy that's been let go and then another team just swoops him in, there's a reason why they want to take him, and then another one, and then another one. There's some good stuff about this guy, and that's the reason why he keeps coming back to the league.
Correct.
And if there's one thing I've heard about the Holiday brothers, is that they're just good people.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the biggest thing I've ever heard about all three of the Holiday brothers. So I think that had a lot of influence on what the Nuggets front office were thinking about when they were hiring him. What do you think about that, Andre?
I think that's a good, strong analysis. I also think he's a little more, wing versatile than Jeff was, right? I think he'll fall somewhere in between what Ish's role was, but the wing version of that, and what Uncle Jeff was, but more of a 2-3 small ball 4 than a true 4 that had those 2 nightmarish possessions at the 5 against the Heat. So I think there's a path where, Malone could kind of lean on him a little more and maybe P. Watt sitting on the bench more than we'd like, or maybe a Vlatko sitting on the bench more than we like, or it's a Hunter Tyson. And hopefully, similar to Ish Smith, that kind of transitions to where the young guys can swoop in and take more of a share of those minutes as the season goes along. But if he's reliable and Malone trusts him and he's a calming presence in that locker room, just like Uncle Jeff, it wouldn't surprise me if he just ends up being that 8th man over some guys we feel like are more talented, but Justin's just more consistent, more solid. He spaces the floor. He gives you length and, effort on defense on the wing. The reason he's always employed is everyone in the NBA needs guys like that. Every single team.
Okay, we have 2 more segments, but before that, I need to squeeze one question. So give me just yes or no. Is DJ our backup 5 on the first game of the new season or not? Jeremy?
Yes.
Ray?
Third string.
Let's hope, Ray. I say yes.
Yeah, I kind of think he will be the backup 5 at the start of the season, and I don't think that's a very bad thing, especially if he gets to have some minutes with J-Pick. I think J-Pick could use DJ very strongly in the second unit for sure.
Oh,
okay,
did.
Yeah, let's take one more short break and we'll come back. Okay, third segment here. We're now gonna leave this summer and contemplate on the 8 years of Michael Malone, Nikola Jokic era. We're going to snake draft the best players of this era, and to make it fair, nobody will be able to draft the horseman from Sombor. I think that's completely fair. So there's only one rule. The player had to play in Denver at any point since October 2015, and we will value his value through the lens of his Nuggets prime. So, for instance, Paul Millsap will not have his Hawks value. Trey Lyles will not have his Sacramento value. So let's start and also try to make coherent starting fives. So don't pick 5 guards. Let's try to make actual 5-man lineups. Okay, and at the end of the show, I will send out the tweet and we'll let the people choose who has the best 5, and the tribunal of history can judge us forever, or at least until Mr. Musk shuts down Twitter completely. Okay, so let's first see who has the first pick. Oh my God, it's me. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I had no idea. So this was completely random. And okay, if that's the case, I will take Jamal Murray if you don't mind.
Clear-cut first pick, right? Like that. There was one set and forget guy, and it's Jamal.
Yeah.
Sure.
What you gonna do? Okay, Jeremy.
Now, since you picked Jamal Murray, I can also pick Jamal, or we have to pick somebody else.
No, somebody else, please.
Okay, somebody else. Okay. Just the impact on just the Nuggets since 2015. You know what? I'm actually gonna go with Monte Morris.
Okay, that's a nice pick. Okay, Ray.
All right. I'm gonna go with Michael Porter Jr.
They also a strong pick. Dre.
Very solid pick. I'm gonna go AG because I like my options at the 5 the least. I might be able to play AG as the small ball 5.
That's fair.
You guys
And
took
the
Monte.
next pick.
I'm going Bruce, man. Bruce, the versatility he allows me. I feel pretty good about AG and Bruce as my 1 and 5 here.
That
Lots
is
of options.
pretty good. Okay, Ray, back to you.
I do have a similar feeling about the big man depth, so I'm going with one DeMarcus Cousins.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Sorry, can you repeat?
DeMarcus Cousins, Boogie.
Boogie. Okay, that's interesting, but also possibly the best option on the 5. Okay, Jeremy.
You know what? I guess because of the trend that I'm going with now. Listen, throw Gary Harris on there for me.
Oh, gee, okay.
Mr. Nugget heavy lineup.
Hey, man.
The vibes are amazing already.
Very heavy. Okay, now I have to make 2
might
picks.
have the least.
This is okay. You know what? Since Dre didn't do this, I'll do it. So Danilo Gallinari.
I knew this was coming. Solid pick.
So Danilo was like a 19-point per game player while he was playing next to Nikola Jokic. Okay, and I need to make one more pick, and it's gonna be Mason Plumlee.
Mason Plumlee. Ooh, see now.
Big's coming off the board fast.
That was
Everybody needs a big after this Nikola Jokic domination. Jeremy.
Yeah, you just kind of messed me up with the Plumlee pick. Okay. Dang, you guys are serious about like the center position. It's tough to think about any serious big men other than obviously Jokic and Boogie and Plumlee. You know what? This one is going to be very controversial. But I'm gonna say this name and just throw it out there because I want to see how people feel. But I'm actually gonna go with Will Barton. I'm gonna throw Will Barton on there.
Wow.
I know
a lot of skill.
Hey, I know how people felt about Will, but we're gonna go with Will today.
Will had a
Maryland guy. I support him.
long career on the Nuggets, and most of it was really good.
Absolutely.
Ray.
Okay. I'm going to continue with the theme here. Maybe we'll start to notice. Wilson Chandler.
Okay.
Wow. Man, Jeremy, I thought you were going Nurkic on us. I was like, oh, shit. He's talking 5. He's concerned about the
Thanks,
vibes.
Vlad.
I
Like,
know.
I actually didn't.
Twin
I don't know.
Towers, yeah.
I don't even have Nurkic on my board, but yeah, he does exist.
I guess Gary Amante would counter the Nurk vibes, but okay. I better load up on wings here. Give me KCP. By the way, I have 3 NBA champions on my
Yeah.
lineup.
Yeah.
You actually have 3 NBA.
And then I'll take Jeremy Grant.
That's fine.
Oh,
You know,
I ain't gonna lie, I actually forgot about Jeremy.
That was a solid playoff run. We'll always have that with the JG.
Yeah. Good luck
Um,
with that spacing, though. Okay, great.
Okay. This is a tough choice. All right, I'm gonna go with PJ Dozier.
Okay.
Mm.
I was wondering when
Yeah.
he's gonna get Dozier.
I will say Isaiah Hartenstein still on board. Still
Yeah,
around.
Yeah.
Still available.
Bull could be the steal of the.
Very true. Very true. Well.
I'm actually gonna go ahead and go with Paul Millsap.
That's very strong.
That's a great pick.
Solid pick.
Yes, I agree with that pick. Okay, so now I need some guards because I'm already good with the bigs. So let me go. Oh God, this is getting hard. Okay,
Dig deep.
let's go with Malik Beasley.
Oh,
Okay.
great pick.
Pick.
Great pick.
And then I need another guy. And this is gonna be hard, but it's a 5th pick. So what you gonna do? Okay, let me just take a look. Oh God.
Yeah, you trying to get a 4 here?
At like a 3-4, something like that. Yeah. Let me see. Who should I get? You know what? I'm gonna go with Bones Highland.
Okay.
Oh,
But
that's
he is the
tough.
last guy
Okay.
I was expecting
Alright.
to see on my board, to be honest.
Yeah. Jamal and Bones. I don't know if they'll get along.
That's very true.
Hey, listen, man. Just kind of continuing with the theme, because apparently I can't seem to get anybody that's currently on the Nuggets, since everybody is grabbing them. But if I need a big man since then, somebody who's somewhat, I don't know if you want to call him versatile, but he definitely brought the vibes. I'm gonna go with Kenneth Faried.
Yeah, that's a good pick. He actually has some great numbers on the.
That's
some
why we
moments
love
for sure.
Kanagate so much. Like, we've been searching for get the guy in the dunker spot for Yoke to just throw alley oops to. That was so much fun.
Ray, your final pick.
All right. My final pick. I need a point guard. Let's see. If you throw a name out in the chat, I might pick it at this point. Speaking of pick it, are we allowed to pick players who haven't played a minute for the Nuggets yet?
Hey,
Is that an
2015, that was the rule.
The draft vibes are so high. I mean, why not?
I was going to pick Jameer Nelson, but now that I've opened up this door, I'm going to pick Jalen Pickett. I'm going with it. Let's go.
Okay. Was I such a coward? Okay.
Oh
Ray,
man.
final pick. It's getting really hard in these like 4th and 5th pick.
I really resent your comment about my spacing on my team, Miro. I mean, JG shot 38% as a Nugget. I think that's good. But to address that offense, I'm not going Austin Rivers. I'm going Juancho. Give me Juancho, man.
Okay.
Juancho's the 4 that this team needs. JG, Juancho, KCP. You got AG at the 5. Bruce running the show. This is going to be a fun team.
Yeah, Juancho is actually a great pick. I'm so sad I didn't use my 5th pick on him. I was thinking about him for my 4th pick, and I just forgot about him. Okay, so guys, right after the show, we'll give you these starting 5s. So for me, it's Jamal Murray, Danilo Gallinari, Mason Plumlee, Malik Beasley, Bones Highland. For Jeremy, it's Monte Morris, Gary Harris, Will Barton, Paul Millsap, and Kenneth Faried. It's a really good lineup. For Ray, it's MPJ, Boogie, Ill Will, PJ Dozier, and J Pick. I have to say it's a bit of a hipster kind of lineup. And then for Dr. Dre, of course, AG, Bruce Brown, KCP, Jeremy, and Juancho Hernan Gomez. I'm not optimistic about winning this one. I have to be honest about it. Okay, it is time for our last break, and then we'll come for the last show. Andre, do you need to split or?
I need to split.
Okay,
yes.
okay. Thank you very much for
this game. Thank you guys
for being
Always
with
a
us.
pleasure.
Nice meeting you, man.
It's been an honor.
Absolutely, always.
Yeah.
Great meeting you.
Okay, last break. Okay, we are back, and this is the last game for today. It is a game I traditionally have during the summer, and it is 2023 Summer League participant or 2020 Tokyo Games athletics gold medalist. I will give you a name, and you will tell me if this guy is a Summer League participant or Tokyo Games athletic gold medalist. So it should be fairly easy, except it is absolutely not. So let's start with
I expect
Jeremy.
nothing less.
Let's try to guess these guys. Okay, so first one, Damian Warner.
Summer League.
Let's
go
see.
Olympics.
No, he is actually Canada's own decathlon Olympic champion in the Tokyo Games. It's probably the most impressive athletic discipline of them all. So decathlon champion Damian Warner. Ray, your turn. David Tomala.
Oh. I'm
With a W.
gonna say Olympics. Yeah. Fingers crossed.
It is.
Hey!
David Tomala
Let's go.
is
1 for 1.
the 50 kilometers walking Olympic champion. Walking is should that
Interesting.
be an Olympic?
As a dog walker, I respect that.
That's
Listen,
true.
it's,
That's
it's
true.
harder. It's harder to do than we think. It really is. It's like competitively, yeah, for sure.
Those guys have some hips, man. Like very impressive, very impressive. We used to have a really good
The stride leg.
walker from Serbia some 20 years ago when I was still super tuned into the Olympics. Okay, Jeremy. Xavier Castaneda.
You know, I feel like since we had back-to-back Olympics, we gotta have a summer league guy here. So I'm gonna go summer league again and see how it works out.
Yes, he will be playing for the Clippers, and he comes from the Akron University. So I guess he might be from LeBron's like old neighborhood. Ray, question for you. Malcolm Casalon.
I'm feeling the Olympics.
I'm really disappointed in you because this guy used to play for Mega Basket in Serbia, in Belgrade.
That's
Malcolm
okay.
Casalon. He will be playing for the Detroit Pistons in the summer league. I don't know, but he should be pretty talented. Okay, Jeremy.
Interesting.
Angelo Allegri. I'm really sorry, Dre is not here for Angelo Allegri, I guess.
I'm gonna say the Olympics for this one. I'll say the Olympics.
Yes, he is not. So he will be playing for Charlotte.
He said yes, he's not.
he used to play for the Eastern Washington University, and yes, he will be playing for Charlotte Hornets. Ray, question for you. Jarkel Joyner.
I'm gonna say summer league. I'm feeling it.
Yeah, you do remember the Griffith Joyner, Olympic champion in sprinting back in the day.
Wow.
Florence Griffith Joyner. Yeah, but this guy is summer league. So
Thank you.
he will be playing for the Atlanta Hawks.
I
hope that his last name would fool you. He used to play for the NC State University. Okay, Jeremy. Daniel Stahl.
Ooh. You know what? I don't know why, but I think we're gonna
Rings a
go.
bell.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go Olympics with this one, just because I feel like I've seen that name, that last name, especially floating around a lot. So I'm gonna say Olympics.
Very good, very good. He is a guy
Discus.
who is throwing the discus from Sweden, and if you see his stature, he would probably be really good in the low post. So so maybe he can grab some summer league, reps as well. Okay, Ray. Taz Sherman.
Oh man. I'm feeling Summer League. That's a Summer League name. I don't know. I just feel it.
He is playing for Denver Nuggets. We should know this.
Yes.
So last year he was in Hungary, in Honved, Budapest. And yeah, Taz Sherman is one of the guys we'll probably see in 3 minutes when the game starts. So we need to hurry up. Okay.
For sure.
Jeremy, Vincent Valerigo Baudon.
Wow. Yeah, that the last name is definitely throwing me off. Like I'm sure you planned. You know what? I think this one might be a trick one, so I'm gonna go Summer League with this one as well.
Very good, very good. He is actually a Hungarian basketball player.
Nice.
Who will be playing for Boston Celtics, and he used to play for Sopron in Hungary. Right? Fabian White.
So to break a trend, I'm gonna say Olympics.
Nope.
The Lakers.
South Bay Lakers. He will be playing
Gross.
for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
I couldn't
That's okay.
find a photo of him in South Bay Lakers uniform, so this had to do. Okay, and I think the last couple of questions. Stephen Gardiner, Jeremy.
Let's go Olympics with this one. Let's go Olympics.
Yes, and he is a guy from Bahamas.
Ah,
Remember I told you we do
that.
have the Olympic champion from the Bahamas.
There are a lot of
Stephen
people
Gardiner,
with that last
400
name.
meters or something like 450 yards, whatever. I don't know what you use. So yeah, a great champion from the Bahamas. Ray, Nate Darling, this is the last question.
Give me Summer League. I'm feeling it.
Excellent.
Bring it home.
Summer
Let's
League. He'll be playing for the Chicago Bulls, and he used to play last year for the Ontario Clippers in the G League. Okay, that's enough gaming for today. Do you guys have anything to plug before we leave? Jeremy?
I mean, as of right now, I mean, the Denver Hoops and Dreams has come to an end. For especially for the time being. We may relaunch it next season, depending on, but we shall see. Right now, I just do a sports betting show called Take It or Leave It. So you can check that out pretty much anywhere if you're looking for some sports betting tips, because right now I'm just doing a lot of baseball because, yes, you can pick your summer league winners, but I don't mess with that right now because nothing's on the line. So I don't do it personally, but that's about
it's
it,
insanity.
man.
It's insanity to gamble that.
I leave that alone. But no, I mean, anytime I'm always down to talk basketball, talk sports. It's always cool to, talk to some people who are like-minded, right? So that's it for me, man. But I appreciate you guys, having me on here for sure.
Thank you very much. Ray, what are your plans for the summertime? Can we expect more shows from you and Peter?
Yeah. Dropping new episodes pretty much every week. We are at Four Corner Pod. If you want to follow us on Twitter, we have all the links there. And yeah, we talk about the Nuggets. We talk about the NBA at large. We give sometimes rational, sometimes not so rational takes about Vlatko Chanchar. But yeah, we have a good time. So definitely check us out.
So guys, thank you for watching this show for the last 18 months or so. I will take a short vacation from the show until the first week of August. I'll actually be spying on the Greek national team for the FIBA World Cup while pretending to be an innocent tourist urging for some gyros and souvlaki. Take care of your loved ones. Take care of yourself. Work smarter, not harder. And remember, there's always money in the banana stand. See you in about 4 weeks. Go Nuggets.
Go Nuggets.
Either more.